It's probably appropriate. But
Oh, man. That
All the
joke was a
things we talk
burner.
about before the show
Caught up
starts.
to me.
right.
Caught up to me.
What a great intro. But yeah, it's Sunday, fellas and ladies. You know what that means.
Fanboys Live.
Multiple things happen on Sundays. We have the Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, and the Minnesota Vikings lose another game they should have won.
Hey,
So-
your hockey team's good. They're
Yeah,
competitive.
you know what? That's okay. That's okay. I'll take that.
That's the only sport that matters.
But you know what's special about today?
What's that?
This is the one Sunday a year that Cher can turn back time.
Are we
Yeah,
sure that Cher isn't in the Justice League Dark?
She could.
She's some kind of time master.
She's a gypsy, a tramp, or a thief.
Her and Madonna seem to like, and Ozzy Osbourne. Those people live forever.
They do.
well,
You know what I mean?
You know, the final sign of the apocalypse actually happened this year while we're on the subject.
Oh yeah,
One of the Rolling Stones actually died.
these are the end times.
Yeah, like talk about people living forever.
They've actually done studies on Ozzy Osbourne's DNA to figure out why
Yeah.
he's still alive, because he's
It's sort of
done
like
every drug known to man several times.
Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. Like
Yeah.
he has every disease at the same time, and that's what's keeping him alive.
That's
You give
keeping
him
him
an aspirin, he'll die.
Yeah, right. That's funny. That's funny. So, yeah, did you guys get a chance to hit up your LCS by chance?
I did not.
No.
Did
I-
not.
Finally pulled the plug. I don't buy new books.
You're done. You're out.
Yeah, but turning that money around, I got October was just a crazy month for me. I knew a little bit ahead of time I wasn't going to get to buy comics. It was crazier than I thought, but finally got to go to STL. So my last video was just a huge. It looked like he bought a Batman collection. I'm talking he had thousands of Batman books in.
So you're not
Well-
done with comics in general. You're just done
No,
for now with new.
I'm not going to buy the new books new. If I come across them used, I will. And that's basically jumping into the news. We can talk a little bit about it.
Sure.
Basically, just protesting DC Comics and the state they're in. A couple news items. One, they've been hinting at it, but I guess it's leaked. It's official in 2022. They're going to kill off Clark Kent again.
Yeah, I saw the article.
Supposedly permanently. And that sort of leads into, I didn't know if I was going to talk about it, and I'll just mention it quick because I don't want to get angry, but DC was basically caught with a fake news report that the creators on the new Superman book were being threatened to where the police had to be called in LA.
Oh, geez.
And it's extremely fake when you find out that Tom Taylor, the writer, lives in Australia. The artist lives in Costa Rica. And the other creator quit because of what they're doing in protest. To be fair, it's the best story DC's written with the least amount of plot holes in years. But, you just look at what they do. They're trying to ride off the coattails of people that actually have suffered and been threatened. You know what I mean? It's pretty disgusting when you think about it. And from the fans' point of view, they're trying to paint us all as istophobes that will threaten their lives over having a bi character. So I'm going to stop there. To me, I just find the whole thing disgusting. And
I
don't
didn't
wanna
know that. I'm
participate.
about to find the article. I'm interested.
yeah, I think I sent the video, one of the videos talking about it to the chat.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's, to me, you factor in the prices and the poor writing, it's just not worth supporting.
There's a couple of good stories right now that at least piqued my interest. Have you guys checked out DC versus Vampires? That was pretty good.
No, but they
I
have
have
some
not.
amazing covers.
Who's
I
writing?
looked,
it?
I didn't see the Green Lantern one at my LCS.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that one, the glow in the dark. Did you guys happen to see, or Tony, did you see the glow in the dark Green Lantern?
Hey, check it out.
Oh, what's up? Back from the Speed Force.
Yeah, right?
And it comes with COVID, I guess.
Hey,
Oh,
Oh no.
you get jet lag every now and then.
Yeah, it happens. How are you guys?
doing good.
Decent.
Good.
All
Good to
right.
see you.
Have you read DC versus Vampires yet?
I have.
What did you think of issue 1 without giving away a whole lot?
It was way better than I thought it was going to be, but
right?
but I do think they could have done it a little bit better. But it was really good.
That main villain right away, totally did not see that coming.
Nope. I agree.
That was out of left field in a best possible way. I highly recommend Comic Fu read at least issue 1.
All right.
And Tim.
I would like to read it and Task Force Z, considering
Task
it
Force
has
Z
Red
was
Hood.
good. Yeah.
But
You know what is not good currently? The Flash. Cancel it, burn it, do whatever you want to, but do not spend the $6 on it. Take it off your pull list. Don't do that.
$6.
I thought you were going to say
for
that
one
manga
book.
you sent me to read.
Yeah. That's
Hey, now.
true.
Did you make it to the prison? If you didn't make it to the prison, I don't want to hear no comments.
Yeah, as I say,
That's
I
when the
felt like I
story.
was in prison the whole time reading it.
You send Dave something to read, and the first thing you hear is, "I don't like the lines."
yeah.
What?
well, and then after he's like, I really liked the story up until I saw the art. And I'm like,
What?
Yeah.
He was like, "I really like the hallway in the first page." Like,
yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was good.
oh,
DC
man.
versus
Said all the
Vampires
background
was good.
art was great. It was just like
Pick it up.
people. Sorry, Dylan.
No, you're good. Task Force Z was good too. Definitely also worth a pick up.
Is it
It's
zombies?
zombified Task Force X members that die.
Dude,
It's a cool
Whatever
little
happened
story.
to the Black Label books? Like, when is the finale of Get Joker coming out?
Well,
It was
you
like
see,
months ago.
you're answering your own questions. And if you think about the previous conversation, those are good books. So they're going to stop printing those.
That's probably the paper they can't get.
Yeah, that's the thing that they can't get.
Sorry, that's on better paper.
But it's. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the new Wonder Woman that's coming out is the Phil Jimenez one, the Wonder Woman Amazon Historia. I think that's Black Label.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't
Those are the
Black
books I
Label,
regret not picking up new. Is the Black Label books.
yeah, but doesn't Black Label not exist anymore because everything is continuity?
Technically,
Yes, but those books actually sell for them, so the label stayed.
Fair
And
enough.
that's an actual honest answer.
yeah. I was checking out this Superman article about him dying, and you're right. Sounds like they're going to try to make it permanent.
Well, they've been
Who?
hinting at it, but it's like
Superman. They're
They're
going to try
gonna
to
kill
kill
him again.
Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Superman.
they're permanently going to kill
Done
him
with
next
him.
year, supposedly.
I don't like
Completely
that.
done.
Huh? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't believe it. I
Like-
don't believe it.
It'll be permanent until somebody cleans house at DC and you get some
Yeah.
real writers in there again.
Does that mean that Dean Cain can't show up in the chats?
Yep, he's dead forever.
Dead?
He's dead
No,
forever.
Dean Cain is always welcome.
That's probably the reason they're trying to kill Superman.
He's doing too good a job. But I thought I hope. I mean, who's to say 30 years ago when they killed Superman, they probably thought it was forever too. You
No,
know?
they knew.
No,
No,
I think they knew.
If you listen to those creators talk, like the
Yeah.
Nightfall and Death of Superman, they had it all planned of them
Yeah.
coming back.
That
I just
was a-
watched
I mean,
a
that was a joke that they had, because they had these yearly team meetings where all the creators from all the different titles come together. And the joke was, well,
Yep.
what's going to be our big event? And for years and years, they said, let's kill him, and everyone would
Yeah.
laugh. And then one year they said, let's kill him, and someone said, well, what would happen if we did?
I just
What
watched
happened?
a great interview with Chuck Dixon. Like, personally, maybe my favorite Batman writer of all time on the Thinking Critical channel. He talked about Nightfall, and everyone was mad they didn't pick Dick Grayson. And he's like, we did that on purpose because everybody wanted Batman to be edgy and murder people. So we gave him a Batman like that to make everyone realize
They did.
we don't really want that. And then afterwards, they had the Prodigal storyline where Grayson was briefly Batman.
Yep.
So it's like, oh, that we want Grayson as a Batman next. We don't want a murderous Batman. I thought that was genius by them when you hear him describe it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it had that exact effect. By the time you were done with Azrael Batman, you're like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah,
Batman back.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know what they're setting up for now that Superman is dead. They're gonna rework Doomsday, and it's gonna be pansexual Doomsday. So,
Who knows?
Doomsday is gonna be redone as well.
I saw one of the best memes about the new Jonathan Kent Superman, like he now he has two weaknesses: kryptonite and improper use of pronouns.
And
Which I had to chuckle at, but you know, and they left a huge plot hole. Like I forget what book it was, but Jonathan Kent was protesting climate change. Fine and dandy, no problem. But if anyone can do anything about climate change, isn't it a Kryptonian?
Yeah, I saw people talk about
Good
that.
point.
It's like multiple ways he could personally fix it.
Right.
And this is an actual universe where there's tons of planets they could go to if it didn't get fixed.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I mean that's really not something I think you want to touch in comics with, like, you know, beings of this kind of power that could just snap their fingers and solve it. It's a little silly.
Yeah, I couldn't help but
it was like, what was that movie? Was it the fourth Superman movie where he said he's like, I'll solve nuclear war? It's like,
Speaking of movies, I'm late to the party, but I finally watched the new Suicide Squad.
Yeah, what did you think?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all.
It got
good.
me excited. For those of you in the chat know how much I love Doctor Who. There's big news in that this week. But the 12th Doctor is the actor that played the Thinker in it. So I was excited to see him. And I mean, I thought it was I think it's the best movie since Man of Steel. And I think a lot of people that said it was too funny, I disagree with. Like, I thought it was
perfect.
I thought it had a perfect tenure all the way through, like the Weasel. I love the Weasel. I was Googling because my wife's like, do you know who he is? And I'm like, they fight a lot of anthropomorphic animals. Like, I'm sure I've seen them. So,
what's really funny is he's a Firestorm villain. The Weasel is a Firestorm.
Oh, wow.
Blow your mind. Like those two things don't go.
He was
together.
in Blackest Night too. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And if you read the Justice League tie-in, he's one of the villains that's because they have like a morgue of villains underneath the hall. He comes back as a Black Lantern on that. I'm like, no way.
I have a question. Did anyone either see or did they get it spoiled by reading the article on how Stargirl's season ended? Because it had a first appearance. There was a DC character's first live action appearance was at the very end, which has increased the value of a specific Infinity Inc. issue because of that.
The very end.
Didn't see it. Honestly, I haven't seen more than one episode of Stargirl. Not that it's a bad show.
You'll see what direction they're going for next season by this villain's appearance.
A villain? Who was it? Because I'm blanking, wondering if I even noticed it now.
It's Mr. Bones.
Oh,
yeah.
Did they actually show him? Because I know I missed that. I remember the maid calling him when they were looking for Todd.
They showed him.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Speaking of villains, did you guys see who the main villain was for Justice League Dark now, or is for Justice League Dark?
Is it Tim the Comic Collector?
In the comics?
Close. Yeah, in the comics.
Oh, okay.
No. Last I left off, they were fighting Merlin, I think, in Atlantis.
Papa Midnight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Papa Midnight?
I swear to you, I thought Tony was going to say it was Papa Murphy's Pizza.
Papa John's.
That's a Constantine.
The Papa John's
character.
guy. No, what's weird is he's technically not a villain, so I don't know how they're going to twist it at the end. He's a neutral John Constantine character. If you remember the Keanu Reeves movie of Constantine, he goes into the Oblivion Club, and it's the same guy who plays the Shazam wizard. I can never remember his name, but he plays Papa Midnight in that movie. So they made him in the movies, and it's looks like Justice Society of America is getting a live action spinoff of the Black Adam movie.
Cool.
With including Dr. Fate, which possibility leads to a crossover with the Constantine Zatanna universe, Justice League Dark. I mean, he fits there perfect, so that would be really cool.
Is Black Adam a period piece?
Yes.
Okay.
And no. Yes and no.
Okay. So it's probably bookmarked then, like an origin movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if the Justice Society would be a period film then or not.
Very good question that I wish I knew.
If it's spinning out of Black Adam, you'd think it would end where be in the timeline that the Black Adam movie is, like the newest timeline.
Yeah. What I heard is it's going to set up the confrontation between Shazam and Black Adam. Allegedly. I mean, we'll find out. But it's only been like 35 years since they announced The Rock as Black Adam. So
it takes a decade to make Black Adam, but like 2 weeks to get the Suicide announced, filmed, and in theaters.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
moved fast, and he was making Guardians 3 at the time too, right?
Yeah. It's funny, but when they announced Black Adam, they announced and filmed 2 Suicide Squad movies.
Yeah,
they haven't even gotten to one Black Adam movie.
Wow.
That's
you guys excited for Peacemaker now after seeing the movie?
I'm interested in it. I wouldn't say excited. I'm interested.
I thought John Cena was pretty good.
See,
yeah,
that was the weakest part of the movie for me.
Really? He reminds me of how Wild Dog is in the Suicide Squad get Joker. Like ridiculous.
Yeah.
See,
no, honestly, like I could have done without that character, and that probably would have solved most of the issues I had with the movie, although I did really enjoy it.
He's an old Charleston Comics guy, isn't he? Peacemaker?
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yep.
I think his biggest claim to fame was interacting with Vigilante in the 80s in the Vigilante comic. That was the biggest thing he had done at DC Comics for this.
Vigilante's in the Peacemaker series. He's in the trailer.
Yeah.
And what was I just looking up the other day? I saw he was involved. I can't think of it. If I think of it, I'll pull it up. It was a cool cover. It's like just his face on the cover. And it looks like he
probably
took
Peacemaker
over.
1. He had a small mini in the 80s, but it didn't do nothing.
No, he took over for someone else's book. I'll have to look it up.
Suicide Squad?
I don't think.
Oh, he is in the current Suicide Squad roster.
Yeah.
Which they brought in Talon too. That was really cool. That's a good character for Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I literally just want to see him do "You Can't See Me" or something retarded.
He's gonna do something like that. Yeah. It's funny to see John Cena fighting in whitey tighties in the trailer. You know, because he's a huge dude.
I was surprised. Sorry to keep going back to this. All the talk for King Shark, and I felt like he wasn't really in much of the movie. Like he's sort of underutilized, in my opinion.
He's listed as a series regular for Peacemaker, so we'll see.
Yeah.
They couldn't afford the CGI, you know, because DC movies are such crap usually.
Yeah. Because it was like he was heavily featured, and then a good chunk of the film, the Suicide Squad would do something, and you just see King Shark wandering off. Or like he turns around and everyone's gone.
That'd be me. If I was in the Suicide Squad. Hey, check out, guys, there's a comic shop over here. What do we no, put the mission on hold. Let's dive through some back issues. But those are some of the bigger news news articles that I found.
Did you guys already talk about the Injustice movie, the animated movie?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, I haven't got to see it yet, but we talked about it when it came out.
I hate to be that guy that says the book is better, but this time I have to use it and mean it.
No, I agree. They did Barry dirty again, man. They are just screwing him and everything now.
Yeah, it was not good for sure, and they really emphasized Mr. Terrific in the show or in the movie or whatever, and he's not that big of a role in the main story. In fact, he doesn't even show up to like year 3 or 4. So we'll see. I'm glad they kept an R rating because Injustice is kind of like an R-rated storyline, but who knows? Maybe we'll dive deep into Injustice because it's heavy Green Lantern stuff. For those of you who don't know and are Green Lantern fans, Linda Carter is set to reprise her role in Wonder Woman 3. Did you guys catch that article?
Did.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What was her name again in the movie?
Asteria.
Asteria, yeah.
Asteria, yeah.
Asteria, okay.
And for those that might be interested, and maybe you're not aware, but in addition to acting, Linda Carter for a little while now, she started her career actually as a singer, and then did beauty pageants successfully, became a successful actress. She's singing again and has been for quite some time. But for those that might be interested, Linda dropped a new song, which you can find on your favorite streaming platform, called Human and Divine. But what's interesting about this, she originally started writing this song kind of as a love song to her husband. But what happened is, after she saw the first Wonder Woman movie, the Patty Jenkins one, she ended up changing it to be a song about Wonder Woman in a way. I mean, she doesn't reference anything Wonder Woman, but it's from Wonder Woman's point of view, I guess is a good way to say it. So if you want to listen to that song with that perspective sometime, it's on streaming platforms. It's Human and Divine by Linda Carter.
Very cool.
Flashpoint left right now to go listen to it.
I guess.
That it?
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Oh, okay.
He took over for Checkmate for several issues. I just learned that.
Very cool. I have to check that out.
At one point, didn't Alan Scott run a Checkmate?
I don't know, but I was looking into this series a bit, and I was thinking we should. I don't know anything about it, but I was thinking maybe that's a book we should do one night.
Yeah, man, I'm in for sure. That sounds like fun.
Have you guys ever read it?
I haven't read it.
I'm pretty sure I read something where Alan Scott was in it, and I read the first issue of Bendis's Checkmate.
Oh man, I didn't shout out the chat. Sorry.
And it's the exact same as Leviathan, just people standing around in the dark talking.
Aggressively Relaxing showed up. Flashpoint made an appearance. I Collect a Lot, and Mom from Next Door made an appearance. So I know it's still kind of early. Hats off to everyone for showing up. High five all around. Help yourself to the donuts in the break room. Whatever. Yeah. So anybody got any other news, or we can dive right in here?
Mm-mm.
All right. So we're doing Identity Crisis, which is a great story, in my opinion. And apparently a lot of you agreed too, because this pick blew everybody out of the water. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was like 56% of the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, and although on this show we don't talk about, ahead of time who picked what because we don't want to influence the chat, I do want to thank everyone who supported my choice and my contribution.
It might be the first time a choice didn't get a single vote.
You got shut out, man.
I'm telling you, people didn't understand what story I was talking about by its title. That was the problem.
That was the problem.
Yes, that was the problem. But anyway, my question for Tony before we began is, what do you have against Sue Dibney?
I don't have anything against Sue Dibney,
because this is the second story you've picked that doesn't turn out pretty well for Sue Dibney.
Which other one was it?
The last story of yours that we did, Sue Dibney was possessed by.
Oh
yeah, Day of Vengeance. You're right.
Yes, and I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, why does Tony not like Sue Dibney? When did she ever pee in his Cheerios?
I didn't expect this from a Kyle fan, but Tony.
You'd be like, Tony, what's your favorite era of DC? When they really start sticking it to Sue Dibney.
It's funny you mentioned that because I won't give away spoilers, but some of this isn't probably safe for work to talk about.
This is a weird book. It's written by Brad Meltzer. Do you guys remember Brad Meltzer at DC?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure he did like this in the Justice League, and that was really it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But he was like a big novelist that came into DC, and they really promoted it, and then he was just sort of gone. Yeah.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Cool book though. Maybe I secretly hate Sue Dibney more than Harley Quinn, but I guess I don't know. There isn't a whole lot of storylines where Harley, gets killed.
I think that Tony's got business cards that say, "When Sue Dibney suffers, I enjoy."
That's good.
But if you got an assist, I can get us kicked off with issue 1.
Yeah, go ahead. Let me pull it up.
Okay, as you're doing that, I'll say that we're going back to 2004 for this, which was a limited series, and I'm going to cover issue 1. And issue 1's title is Coffin, so that's pretty intense right there. So as Tony pulls up the assist, I'll kind of get us started on the story. This takes place in Opal City, and we start out with Elongated Man and Firehawk, and they're staking out a black market sale of this item. And at first, we don't know what the item is, but as the issue progresses, we'll eventually find out that it's one of Lex Luthor's war suits. So this deal is being engineered by the Calculator. And this is kind of a revised version of the Calculator. It's the same character that used to have the buttons on his chest that would fight Batman, but now he's gotten rid of that. He's taken a lot of flack for that, and he's gotten rid of that. But the Calculator is engineering this deal between the supervillain Bolt and two street thugs named Benny and Trey. So their discussion turns personal while they're waiting, and they start talking about love and secret identities. Firehawk asks Ralph to tell him the story of how he met Sue Dibney, and apparently it's one of the great modern romances. Since the first day that they met, she saw him across the room at a party, and she only had eyes for him. Being around the other superheroes like Superman didn't faze her at all. It's always been Ralph. They were deeply in love, and despite spending time with all of the other stunning gentlemen in the Justice League, their interests never strayed from each other. Of course, this is a little problematic because Elongated Man, Ralph Dibney, has a public identity. So Sue has to, she knows she's going to be a target for his enemies. Well, on this particular day that this issue is taking place, Sue is throwing Ralph one of her famous surprise parties for his birthday. And every year she creates this mystery for him to solve as part of the gift. And Ralph is, being this great detective, he's confident that he already has it figured out the entire thing. But he's not aware that Sue has planned an extra surprise for him. And that's when everything starts going bad, to say the least. So Sue is alone in her home, and she's brutally attacked by a mysterious assailant, and she signals for help. So Elongated Man and Firehawk fly there as quickly as they can. Bolt gets into an altercation with his dealers and is mortally wounded when they shoot him. So Elongated Man busts into his home. Ralph is there, finds Sue lying dead on the ground and her body horribly burned. He's rushing to hold her. He breaks down emotionally and physically as he realizes what's happened. In addition, at that moment, we learn what the special surprise was going to be to his birthday party. Sue was pregnant with her unborn child, so he was going to be a father. The signal devices go out to all of the Justice League, and they're quickly organized. Apparently, there's been a contingency plan in place for something like this, largely put in place by Oracle. Green Arrow arrives at the crime scene. Batman's already been there and left, and a full investigation is conducted. They've called the police in and asked many favors to kind of keep them out so they could take care of this themselves. Mr. Miracle is looking to see how the attacker could have gotten inside. The Atom is looking for microscopic evidence. The Ray is there doing spectrum analysis. The Metal Men are there. Animal Man is there. He's even sniffing around for anything unusual. Metamorpho is looking for anything that they can't identify. Because Sue's home was protected by advanced Justice League security system combining technologies from across the universes. And there's no visible evidence of anything out of the ordinary, and nobody can figure out how the killer could have gotten in and out without leaving a trace. Green Arrow swears that whoever did this better hope the cops find them before they do. We next cut to the funeral, which is held in Central City. That's where Ralph and Sue first met, and big turnout. Superheroes are there as well. To preserve the identities of everyone involved. That's why the superheroes are wearing their costume during the ceremony. Pallbearers are Green Arrow, Hawkman, the Flash, and Sue's uncle. Wonder Woman delivers the eulogy, and Ralph attempts to speak after that, but he can't keep himself together because he's so upset. So after the funeral is over, Captain Atom organizes everyone into strategic search groups to hunt down and find the murderer. So they make a list based on how she was killed, largely comprised of fire-based villains and teleporters. Once everyone else has left, there's 6 remaining members of the League who haven't been assigned to any case deliberately. It's the Atom, Black Canary, Green Arrow, Elongated Man, Hawkman, and Zatanna. They're drawn together by a secret that they hold from the rest of the community, so big that it threatens to tear everything apart if the secret got out. They're mixed with dignified purpose and shame, as the murder brings up consequences to their actions that they haven't had to deal with for years, but they must deal with now. As they convene in the back of the church, Ralph is snapped back like elastic into a man of action from his distraughtness and miserable form. They all know who did it, the one person who could possibly hold a grudge against someone like Sue Dibney. Ralph asks them to help find the man responsible, who he believes is Dr. Light. And that's the end of our first issue.
Very cool. Help me find Dr. Light. So that's very interesting. I didn't read the first issue, so I was kind kind of nice to see. I'm coming in with issue 2, but I got to admit, some of these covers that they put on here, they're pretty crazy. Look at that.
Oh,
that looks
those are
awesome.
great.
The Michael Turner cover?
Yeah. That is awesome.
Yeah, I did a double take on that too.
Yeah, it is nice. I think every issue has like a cool issue like that. My issue isn't as interesting and compelling as yours, but it kicks off with the Atom diving deep into his closet to look for, and he whips out a crossbow. And then we cut back to the church where Ralph Dibny is still at, and they're gearing up to, I guess, go find Dr. Light. And the Flash, I guess, is going to join them. Keep in mind, this is Wally West Flash, in case you're wondering. He kind of phases through the wall. And this had to be my favorite line here in issue 2. Green Arrow says, Kyle, I see you too. And he just kind of appears out of nowhere and he's like, whoa, how did you know I was there? And Green Arrow's like, I bluffed. I lied. I couldn't actually see you. Magic Lasso, you missed a very important detail about your review.
Oh, no. What did I omit?
You missed the joke that Ralph Dibny told about Green Arrow in the first page. Guess why Green Arrow wears the hat? Because he has a bald spot on the top of his head. And he's really self-conscious about it, I guess. Which I thought was pretty funny. They're thinking of a plan here to go get Dr. Light and trying to track him down. And then we cut to kind of why Dr. Light is kind of like the go-to person, and we figure this out. This was kind of awkward to read. So I have to watch how I say it because a couple of words in the YouTube algorithm is a no-no. So this is a grape scene.
It's very Killing Joke-esque. The stories remind me of each other.
Yeah, there is a grape scene in this book, which at the time, as an adult, I guess I really don't care. But I don't want to say comics are marketed for kids, but kids could have probably read this and they don't see. So anyway, we cut to Dr. Light. They are flashing back to inside the watchtower, I presume, and Sue Dibny's there. I don't remember how Dr. Light got there. I think he just kind of phased in. But anyway, he sees Sue. I'm just going to say Sue. Sue is in the watchtower, and Dr. Light finds him. So, Fu, you look kind of puzzled here. I don't know if you read this at all, but
I didn't read issue 2. No.
Yeah, look, it gets pretty graphic. Dr. Light is saying that if you tell anyone, I kill you, I swear. It's obvious what's happening. She's pinned to the table, and she is looking out into the stars, wishing that she could be, not there. And Barry shows up first. He kind of stops Dr. Light. Then Green Arrow shows up, and Green Lantern shows up. Everybody shows up. The cavalry has arrived, including Black Canary and Zatanna, and they kind of bring Dr. Light to the ground, which I thought was great. Elongated Man is kind of comforting her. Cut to kind of now, they're like, okay, let's get this guy. Let's go find him. And they, they jump back and forth between the watchtower and on the street. So I like Green Lantern, Hal Jordan's use of his light construct kind of brings him in like an awkward sitting position. Can't really sit, can't really stand. So he's like on his haunches. Brings down, and Zatanna kind of puts him to sleep with, some magic. And they're trying to figure out, like, what do we do? How do we solve this? Because it's in space. I don't even know how to begin this. They immediately take Sue to the hospital. And Dr. Light, where is it here? So we cut to the, I'm going to say villain bar, some on the dock somewhere. They do say it, where I can't recall where. But anyway, Dr. Light escapes. But check this out. Look at the Captain Boomerang. Doesn't he look like 20 years too old to be keeping doing Captain Boomerang stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he really let himself go. But yeah, Dr. Light finally shows up at the Bolivian bar. They capture it, and then talks about the how the Teen Titans have captured him. They're just talking about all the times they've caught Dr. Light and, how they could have had a chance to stop it. You know what I mean? They think they have a location on him. They go check it out. Ralph Dibny's the first one in.
Can you go back for a second? Can I just ask, what kind of light construct is that to transport people?
I hate it.
The portable stripper pole
at any moment.
Yeah. A big scoop, maybe, or like
a creative
baseball
one.
mitt,
Yeah, it's a creative one.
A big hand,
Yeah, not everything could be a boxing glove, Dave.
You're gonna regret that, Tim. Did you read issue 3?
There's nothing to be ashamed of in issue 3.
Okay.
So Ralph is the first one in. He kind of bum rushes it. Turns out not to be a good idea. Kablamo, outsteps Dr. Light and Deathstroke. So that's not a good idea. We cut to Justice League Society headquarters, and this is Dr. Midnight, the medical examiner. He's going over a body, and they're looking for clues, which sets up issue 3, House of Lies. So that is the end of issue 2.
All right.
Get number 3 up here somewhere. 3. Here we go.
All right. So here we've got the Justice League confronted by Deathstroke. And it's this really kind of cool scene where you've got all the narration going on in Green Arrow's head. And he's basically acknowledging that Deathstroke is this like really, really skilled killer. And like to the point where he's as good as Batman. Like he could, he thinks everything well in advance. He's using 90% of his brain where others use 10%. Right. And we see him, I think it's 1 against 7, which he considers good odds for Deathstroke. And it's Wally that moves first. And Deathstroke's ready for him and has these charges that set off all around him. But Wally is still the Flash, so he, of course, dodges all these things. Only Deathstroke was expecting that, and that's where he just kind of knew that he would be coming from behind him and threw his sword backwards and stabbed it right through Wally's chest, and then just for good measure, gave it a little twist. So Wally is down. I assume that his super speed healing is what saves him here because he's not dead.
Yeah.
We get Zatanna, who, as you know, she very powerful in magic, but she has to speak the words. So Deathstroke, knowing this, hits her just below the rib cage, hitting her liver, which causes apparently a vomit effect. And she's caught off guard, like, what did you do? And she can't, get any more words out from that and, get sick. That's where we get Hawkman jumping in, and he is ready for Deathstroke, or so he thinks. Turns out Deathstroke kind of gives this like false attack, and his real attack was to slice through the straps that hold on his wing armor. And so Hawkman goes crashing to the ground without his wings, which is funny. He is so quick. Again, he's thinking in advance, like even Green Arrow, who never misses. He's just swatting those arrows out of the air. Goes at Green Arrow for his head, or so Green Arrow thinks, and he thinks he's being all smart by ducking out of the way. Turns out the real target was his entire quiver of arrows that Deathstroke just lobs the top of them off, or the ends of them, so rendering them useless, right? Black Canary comes in, like it's this great fight scene, and she comes in and she's about to scream, and he's ready for that too. He throws a bag over her head, and takes her to the ground, handcuffs her with her hands behind her back. And at this point, he realizes the only one left is the Atom. And this is kind of creative. He I guess has really excellent vision, Deathstroke. And so he kind of like saw something, I guess, that caught his attention. So he pulls out like a cat's laser pointer and just shines it, reminding Mr. Palmer that that protons and electrons have mass as well. And so at the subatomic state, Ray Palmer just gets bombarded in like this river of electrons and protons. And his instinct is to go big. And so I guess Deathstroke was expecting that as well, because just then Hawkman was getting back up, ready to get back into the fight. But Ray Palmer, the Atom, enlarges just in time and smacks right into Hawkman, taking the two of them out.
How many times have you seen like Batman or Deathstroke? They have like an arsenal and they have specific areas for different heroes.
Yes.
Wouldn't it suck to be the hero? Like, what do you have for the Atom? It's a laser pointer.
Exactly.
Laser pointer.
Cat toys.
Now, I said the last one was the Atom. I was wrong. If you remember, the Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, is still left. I don't know why he was sitting out this entire fight.
What the heck was he waiting for?
Well, all this happened in just a couple seconds.
It's Kyle.
Too busy looking for his ring.
So it's funny you should mention that. So Tim, I assume your new favorite hero has got to be Green Arrow, right?
Why?
Are you a big fan of his? I hope so.
All right.
Because Kyle comes in with this Green Lantern punch. I thought you said he didn't use the punches, but he does.
He doesn't make fists.
Well, no, he did. He made a fist, and Deathstroke caught the fist. And then proceeds to break all of Kyle's fingers and begins to take the ring off his finger. Kyle, can you please hold on to your ring?
You can't just Kyle. He just took out an entire group of the League easily. Now, if you took him out with a laser pointer, you can make fun of me.
Hey, broken finger, okay? So Deathstroke knows that, of all of his biggest risks in all of this, he didn't consider any of these heroes a risk. His biggest risk was what he was about to do next. He was going to put the ring on, and he wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Well, he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure the whole thing would happen. Like, he didn't know if breaking the hand would stop the concentration.
Oh yes, that's right. Like the Green Lantern ring itself was a bit of a mystery to him. He was taking a bit of a chance. You're right. Yeah. But as he's thinking about that and trying to slide the ring off,
the only one he was worried about was Rayner, so it's fine.
Sure.
And fortunately, though, for Kyle, Ollie jumps on Deathstroke's back, has one of his severed arrows in his hands, and shoves it into Deathstroke's dead eye. He does that purposely because he knows he's blind in that eye, but he also knows an arrow in the eye hurts quite a bit.
Wouldn't you do the other eye so he's permanently blind forever? He's no problem anymore.
So Deathstroke does not receive this very well, and he's like, "All right, for that, now I'm going to kill you." And he starts just hitting Green Arrow. And Green Arrow was expecting this. He's like, "Yeah, sometimes you got to take one for the team. I was just giving the rest of them a chance." And that's where we see the rest of them lunge into action and take down Deathstroke. So that was kind of cool. At that moment, though, seeing this go down, Dr. Light, remember, he was there watching this whole fight. He looks on and realizes, like, he suddenly has like a flashback memory. He's like, that's what they did to me. Like, because it was the same scene. And it's a cool page here where you see the top and bottom where it's Deathstroke and then it's Dr. Light, but it's basically just the same villains, just a different moment in time. And he remembers that they wiped his mind. And at that, everything comes back to him. So you say, okay, what are we talking about here? Superman comes in at this point, and again, it's from Green Lantern's perspective and narration, or sorry, Green Arrow, and he just sees the big Superman's shield standing over him, and he's like, okay. And that's where Superman comes in. It's funny. It's like these are clearly the B-list Justice Leaguers, and Superman comes up and almost treats them like children. Like, what did you guys do now, right? And so Wally stands up and takes credit for the whole thing, which is funny because he actually had the least to do with all of this. But let's see. Superman talks to the team. He's like, yeah, we can't handle things this way. And besides, actually, as it turns out, it wasn't Dr. Light. They found out that the burns on Sue's body occurred after death. So they were on the wrong trail to begin with. Then there's this kind of cool little mini scene where Green Arrow pulls Wally aside and says, hey, man, I know we've had our issues before, but I just wanted to thank you for what you did back there and taking credit. And Wally's like, yeah, no, don't thank me. I did this for Hal and Barry, because I guess Hal and Barry were in on this secret too. I did it for them. I didn't do it for you.
Well, you know, Hal's in on something. Say it.
But because at this moment, Hal hasn't come back yet, right? I guess he's still the Spectre.
Yeah, he's in the next issue.
Is he? Oh, okay.
He is.
Oh, okay. Because I saw they were advertising Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. So then we flash back. They start talking about why they had to do it. And so Green Arrow's explaining this, that there was this time where the supervillains all stole their identities. They body swapped with them, right? And in doing, like, don't you think they took our masks off? And they show this scene of them taking pictures of Batman with his cowl off. And he's like, we had to do this to protect our loved ones. We had just buried Black Canary's father and Barry's mother, and they were looking at they didn't want to see any other loved ones buried, and so they decided amongst themselves they had to do something. And so let's see, what they did essentially was they held down Dr. Light, and Zatanna basically put a spell on him that wiped his memory of all of the events. And I don't want to give any spoilers away. But yeah, because I guess Green Arrow had said before, he's like, that wasn't the only one, right? And so like this is something that they had been doing to different villains that came close to uncovering their secret identities. They would actually they had been systematically wiping their memories to protect their loved ones.
And you can see he's explaining this to Wally, and they even zoom in on Superman's ear, right when they say, you know, some people could turn a blind eye or pretend not to. Tony was just on it. Like right here when you see Superman's ear, he's saying something like some people act like they don't know, but it's easy to turn a blind eye or something like that. But you know Superman just heard what they're saying to each other 5 feet away.
Right. Oh, like that's
Superman
good.
Superman understands what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we switch over to back to Gotham City. We've got the Calculator and Merlin on a phone call together. They're just kind of just chatting, and who was it? I guess it's the Calculator, I think it was, said he had another call coming in on the other line.
He's like the oracle of bad guys.
Okay. And he's talking to this guy in the car. What's his name? I forget now. Digger. He's got this guy camped outside of this address, and he wants him to go in and tell this orphan there that he's his father.
It's Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang. Oh, okay. Now, what wasn't clear to me, is this really his father, or they were just saying that?
Yeah, right here. It says it right here.
The son.
If you look at this magazine, Golden Glider and Captain Boomerang have a love child.
It's I don't know if it's happened yet. It might be after this. The Sun's part of the Outsiders with Nightwing and them at one point.
Okay. See, I'm not real familiar with these characters. Okay.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang Jr. was a hero in the Outsiders.
Oh, all right. So, the kid comes out and talks to him. And this guy chickens out. He really needs a job apparently, but he couldn't do this. And so he bailed on it. Meanwhile, Tim Drake, Robin, shows up, gets back home. And I guess his father has, learned of his, that he is Robin, right? And so, but he doesn't like it. And so Robin comes home and he pulls his mask off and he's got this shiner on his eye and he's like, oh man, I can't tell my dad that Cyborg elbowed me. He'll be all worried. So he puts makeup on. He's like, oh, it's perfect. Nobody will ever know. Even Alfred wouldn't be fooled. He goes out to see his dad. And the first thing his dad said is, what happened to your eye? Do you have makeup on?
It's actually a really cool period in Robin comics when his dad finds out. That's why Stephanie was briefly Robin. Because his dad.
This is during that period where I between my two collections, so I didn't know too much of what was going on here.
His dad confronted Bruce Wayne, and they agreed he'd stop being Robin, but I think it was only like a month.
Oh, okay.
And then he comes back, so this is shortly after he's come back to being Robin.
Yeah, so he's trying to make it easier on his dad, but there's this cool scene where the dad just kind of like puts his shoulders at the kitchen sink and just like takes a sigh, and you can tell it's stressing him out, and Tim knows it too.
Imagine if you found out your kid was a superhero in that world.
Yeah. Well, and he's been glued to the TV all night watching this stuff go down, right? And wondering if his kid is involved. So, all right. So then we switch over to a dark room. Oh, it's the chief at the planet and Jimmy Olsen and
J. Jonah Jameson.
I always almost do that. They look so similar. But Jimmy Olsen there, and he was they were having this conversation, and that's where he says, like, you know, it would be if the villains really wanted to get to the heroes, they'd go for their best pals. Jimmy's like, what? Let's see. Then we flash over. Oh, this is crazy. We go over to this like apartment, and we see like a shattered cup of coffee, shattered pictures, a broken chair, a phone being smashed against the wall. And you see somebody's having a gag tied over their eyes and their mouth. Like you see it from the behind there. And the next thing you see is them being hoisted up on the door, as you can see. And this woman is being strangled to death. You don't see who does it, but I'll leave it at that. I think, that's the end of the issue there.
Yep.
So I have a question about something that happened in this issue. And I didn't want to stop in the middle of Boo talking about it to dissect it, but putting a bag or whatever over Black Canary's head, she still should be able to make the canary cry. It might be a little muffled.
Yeah, you would think. Like, wouldn't it just blow a hole through the bag?
That's what I don't understand.
I think it would be because that bag is designed to suffocate you. So you got to have air to do the scream. You know what I mean? Like if you can't breathe at all.
Yeah.
That's what I
was trying to be careful not to spoil anything, but it was at the end of this issue. So I did miss something very key here.
I mean, what Deathstroke did was cool, but I mean, honestly, the bag on Canary's head, grabbing Kyle's hand, that wouldn't really work. So
couldn't you just grab where your mouth is, the plastic, and just rip it?
Yeah.
It looked like it was just a trash bag.
So one quick thing, though, I do want to mention the woman that was just strangled. We do know who she is because of the magazine. I guess I missed it on the other one, but the magazine cover shows that she is the ex-wife of Dr. Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
The Atom.
The Atom.
So somebody is going after their loved ones.
So this is a murder mystery, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to give a theory. We see a woman being hanged. The cover of the next issue is Wonder Woman with a noose.
Oh,
just throwing that out there.
That's an amazing cover.
Who did that?
Michael Turner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So jumping into this issue, we start off with her being hung. We do see the magazine Dave was mentioning, and all the stuff smashed on the ground, and the Atom is coming. You know, he travels through phone lines, and he actually goes into the rope and enlarges himself to destroy it. An interesting way to do that. And gives her mouth to mouth and revives her, and she says, just like the old days. One other thing I just want to mention real quick, they're talking about all this technology, all these people from different planets, all these investigators we have, you know, the Metal Men, Batman, Mr. Miracle, Dr. Midnight. None of those people could figure out that fire came from a flamethrower and not from a metahuman. Just one little problem I have with that, the beginning of that, because we're going into them investigating this apartment, seeing a lot of the same things that they can't figure out who got in or out. And here's Superman. He's one of the first on the scene this time, and he of course knows the knot. It is a Dutch Marine, a bowline knot through an added Dutch Marine twist. Green Arrow's like, you know that? And he's like, yeah, it's a Boy Scout knot.
Yeah.
So they contact Oracle, and you do get a brief glimpse right here of her coming in the door with someone behind it. That's how she got caught. So we skip straight to, they go to, I think it's a guy named Slipknot, and they just go straight to Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman lassos Truthsome for an hour, and you know he knows nothing. So they're looking at it, and they're figuring out all these things kind of tied to the Suicide Squad. And Oliver doesn't believe that, gets into a bit of an argument with Superman. So then we slip back to the Secret Society. We're seeing Merlin a lot. He's talking with Kronos, and I forget who these other people are, you know, another Atom villain. And they're just talking about what's going on, like this could be an opportunity to act. And, you know, Merlin's like, trust me, with everything's going on, we should just, you know, basically shut up and be quiet until they catch the guy, because you don't really want to get caught right now. And we switch back to Mr. Boomerang. It seemed like he was maybe trying to do a job, but he was actually using the calculator to track his son down. And they actually start talking, and weirdly, his son's pretty nice to him. I'm assuming this is pre him being a hero. He almost seems to look up to his dad, even though his dad, you know, abandoned him. It's the first time they've met, and they're getting on really well. You see him getting in the car and leaving with them. Switch to the Batcave, and basically Batman's like, you know, it's not going to be somebody with the Suicide Squad. The first question you have to ask in a detective work was, you know, what do they gain? There's no profit here. And we just get a bunch of different glimpses here. We see Captain Boomerang and his son, the calculator, Ralph on his couch. The life insurance people are calling him. We see Merlin again. Tim Drake and his dad just hanging out. He's calling out for the night to what looks like to watch a movie with his dad. And then we switch to the cemetery. And this is where Alias went to Hal's grave, basically to summon him. And basically they make a couple jokes about each other's style, and he's asking Hal, because he's the Spectre, who did it. And Hal knows, but, you know, of course, being the dick that he is, won't tell him. It's like, I can't tell you. And at the very end, sort of referencing what Dave just mentioned, he says, so Hal, when are you coming back? Hal's like, I don't understand. He's like, yes, we do. You've been at this too long. When are you really coming back? And he says, I'm working on it, which is a nice little nod to, you he is coming back pretty soon in continuity. I think this was.
Right.
I mean, this had to be real close to Green Lantern Rebirth.
They were doing advertisements for Rebirth coming like the next month or something.
Yeah. So we switched to the Daily Planet, and not much happens in my issue. I believe it ends right here. Basically, Lois Lane gets a weird note. It says Lois Lane, personal, private, and it says, Lois, I know who your husband is. The S is a Superman symbol. You're next. So, real quick, not giving our full scores and not giving anything away for those of us who have read to the end. This is a pretty interesting thriller. It's, they brought in a real novelist to basically write a murder mystery. And what we're seeing is it's an interesting take, sort of like The Killing Joke is, what if a villain, because they just showed they were mind-washing villains. What if a villain found out who we are and started going after our loved ones?
Right.
So ending on this cliffhanger of Lois being next, you could imagine how Superman and some of the big guns may react. And it even makes you wonder what else could be coming. You know what I mean? Who else is being targeted just from the people? Like, I know how this story ends, and I don't really remember Merlin. Like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, what exactly is Merlin going to do in the last 3 issues? You know what I mean? So yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a good read so far. We don't get a whole lot of murder mysteries in the DCEU,
Yeah.
So this one's nice.
I think same opinion with The Killing Joke. If they could have took the grapes out, I don't think that has a place in comics whatsoever. But
that takes it to a place it doesn't need to. It's not fun anymore, and
exactly.
It's not something you want to share with kids, and
sort of like what we talked about with John Kent Superman. Some things don't work in this universe, and that's just something you don't want to read about when you're reading for escapism. To me, if you took those two things out of those two stories, it would elevate Killing Joke in this, in my opinion. Like, I've never read this since the first time I read it just because of that. So,
well, this is my first time reading this story, although I was familiar with what the story was about. And I'll say that the issues leave you on good cliffhangers. There's good, as any good writer would have, there's good plot twists where you think you figured it out, but you haven't. And that starts right away in the first issue and realizing this is, in the first issue, essentially they're saying it's Dr. Light. And then you quickly realize at the beginning of the second that it's not. So it's interesting. It's definitely well written. I like the art. I like that they're flashing back to a previous story that actually happened in comic books back in the Bronze Age. So
we didn't even mention the impact of what that would mean, what the heroes doing that is. It's a great way to kind of tie up some continuity too, that, well, remember when they were in Batman's body? Why didn't they look? Mm-hmm. Turns out they did,
Yeah.
I like Jackson Roykirk's comment. This is a good story. He's saying it pulled him back into DC all the way up to Flashpoint. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say this is a bad story. That comment just means I wish they would have left that little bit out.
Oh yeah,
they could have had her just.
That's a good story.
Like, maybe he was just trying to kill Sue and they showed up. Something like that could work just as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty good issue. I was a sophomore in high school when this came out.
Wow.
So I was pretty young. I could see Dave trying to do some math.
It had to
I was trying to think of where I was then. I think I had just moved out to Washington.
Honestly, I was probably just getting back into comics too, because when I first came back, I was buying all trades. And I think that's how I got this. It was probably one of the first 20 DC things I bought when I came back to comics. So.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Who's got what for a book show? Anybody bring anything for show and tell? Oh, me and Dave got the same shirt.
That's why you're on that side of the screen.
Yeah, right. Us versus them. Tim, you got a book or a figure or?
I'll shout out my channel real quick too.
Go for it.
I did. I had a pretty cool Batman haul. It's the first haul I've had since September. really cool stuff if you want to check that out. And I was going to show some of those books because I got a lot of cool books. I kind of wish we weren't doing a theme on the next Alabama Trolls because I got a ton of amazing Batman keys for $1. And I was going to show them. And also, if you didn't see it, go to my Instagram. I did get the Comic Fu variant of Harley Quinn, which I foolishly put away without thinking. I was going to show that tonight. But actually, at Walmart today, I came across something I hadn't seen. The Superman gold label. This is the Energized Unchained armor. Basically, what McFarlane does a lot is just repaint stuff. But this is so freaking cool. I had to pick it up. The original is one of my favorites. So I figured I'd show this. A today Walmart find. It's from Superman Unchained, the Scott Snyder mini. I don't think this armor actually exists. The first figure does. This is just a made-up variant, I believe, for just a way to repaint and reuse the mold. Like, I think they just released a silver Azrael, which is like the 6th or 7th repaint of Azrael.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Awesome. What about you, Mr.
Before we move on,
Sure.
next week on Comic Fu's channel,
Yes.
Fanboys Live.
Yes. Mr. Lasso, what do you got?
Okay, I'll tell you what's going on my channel first, and then I have some stuff to share. So this past week, I dropped a few videos. On Tuesday, I had an AOK from Mark Spector Comics, and he sent a bunch of books, and I was the biggest fool I've ever been in one of my videos, which says a lot. So if you haven't had a chance if you haven't had a chance to check that out, do so. And then on Wednesday, I did a live unboxing, had an AOK from Comics for Thomas. He lives up in Canada, and so we did a live unboxing.
That was a great unboxing. I saw
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by for that. And then on Friday, I had Cover By, which was in celebration of Aquaman's 80th anniversary. And I didn't pick the cover. I had Jaguar Chicatal pick the cover since he's such an Aquaman fan. And he picked an Aquaman cover that Aquaman's not on either cover.
Knowing him, it's probably Zatanna on both covers.
No, it's not Z, but you can check that out as well on my channel. Coming up this week, my next video is well, it's tied into one of the fanboys, actually. So that's all I have to say. You'll have to tune in Tuesday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central when it drops. So that's what's going on with my channel. What I brought to show, the first thing I brought a few things, but the first thing I brought to show are limited edition white fudge covered Oreos because they're just amazing.
I no joke. I almost bought those at Walmart.
That's
I
where
saw
I
them
bought
today. Yeah.
So this is how I know the holiday season is here.
Get them slabbed.
Yeah. So what I bought for a book show, I want to start out. I bought 3 books. The first one is Justice League 166. And I'm going to show 166, 167, and 168 because these are the 3-issue story arc that is referenced in issue 3 that we read tonight. So where the supervillains take a hold of their bodies and end up learning their identities, it happens in these issues.
Very cool.
So here's the second one. And these books went up in price because of this storyline.
I didn't realize it was a popular storyline.
Yeah, this final book pretty much looks like one of the panels inside the story. The cover does.
You're right.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. So this is actually a really good story. So if you don't have this in your collection, I would highly recommend it. And you notice who's in the back, the same Justice League.
Yeah.
That made those decisions right there.
Nice.
I'm surprised the novelist came in and did this well with continuity.
Yeah. So these were the 3 I chose. These are the 3 that comprise that storyline.
I wonder if he had helped him. Like maybe like he came in and with the story and then had somebody like give him the DC knowledge, you know?
Look at Collect-A-Lot's comment.
What?
That's awesome.
True. That's true. For my book show, if I can find my screen here it is. I didn't really have anything related, but I went and I got just some random focus here, camera. Come on. There we go. I don't know if I've shown this one before. Superman, Batman, #1, signed by Greg Pak.
Very nice.
Which is pretty awesome. This one was a tough one to get because he does like 3 or 4 conventions a year. So I got this one, and I was lucky to get it for sure. As far as what's coming up on my channel, I had the Baltimore Comic-Con haul video, the signature haul video, and I did manage to get 400 signatures this year, which is a reference to Comic Foo's 2021 goal video he made at the beginning of 2021, end of 2020. And I did manage to get that. So hooray for me. In terms of what's coming up, I got another haul video dropping on Wednesday. And that's just a cheap collection I happened to stumble across. So I got really lucky and I got some big time scores. Excited to show it off for sure. So stay tuned for that. So sub everybody up on the panel. Links are in the description. Keep in mind, next week we're on Comic Foo's channel. And don't forget to sub everybody up in the chat as well.
The Dave do book show?
What? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I skipped Dave.
I was going to wait till he ended it and then.
No. Go ahead.
Quick,
go ahead.
I've been thinking about that series Dave did and, making how did that turn out? Like, how did the 2021 collected goals turn out this year?
Yeah, you should do a follow-up on that.
Yeah, because it's almost the end of the year. It's like, what?
Or bring everybody back, talk about their year, and then also talk about the
grade them who did the best. No,
that's not a bad idea. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just invite everyone on. We'll do one huge live stream.
That is an awesome idea. I say go for it. Seriously, that is a really good idea.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'm in. You tell me when. I'm there.
Because I'll be honest, I don't think I have the same time or energy that I did last year. That took a lot of time.
Yeah,
I bet.
But let's do the. I'll try to set up a live show. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, totally. That sounds awesome. For sure. But anyway, continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip you.
You could see the Fuminati rage as he was about to end the show. Like you could see he's firing up the.
No, I saw it happening when he went into himself. I'm like, oh, he forgot, right? I was gonna wait till the stream ended, and then I was just gonna make him feel guilty.
I don't know why I did that. But the floor is yours, good sir. The floor is yours.
All right. So so on my channel this week, well, actually, let me show my book show first. Although it is related to what I was going to say. So I have been very delayed in my latest comic finds video because the place I usually film has been split up. My son's using my light. And anyway, I'm going to be putting that video out this week. And but I'll give you a preview right now. I got a really nice book this week at my LCS. Ooh.
Oh wow!
What is that? 64 Justice League 64. This is the first Red Tornado.
I need that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Underused character.
Oh yeah, definitely. So so super happy to get this. And actually, this is not even by far the best book that I picked up this week. There's two in front of this one even. So definitely be on the lookout for my comic finds video. And aside from that, I have mystery boxes. I haven't really announced yet. I announced it a little bit at the end of my auction the other night, but I have mystery boxes that are going to go on sale tomorrow morning on Instagram, $15 boxes. So it's the cheapest boxes I've ever done. And there's a lot of nice chase books in there. So check out my Instagram tomorrow morning and take a look.
Very cool. Stay tuned for that.
Any mystery men or anything this week?
Not this week, although I have ordered boxes and it will be the following Tuesday.
Hey, can I mention something too before we wrap up?
Sure.
A good friend of our chats did a live stream last night that I think if you haven't watched it, you should, and that's Copy 801.
I was there for it. Yeah.
So,
what did I say last? So I said, where has he been? I've been waiting all day. I had nothing to do. I said he's probably going to go live when
you were busy, and that's exactly what he did.
When I was making dinner. That's exactly what I was doing.
But I made an effort to try to get a hold of you.
You did.
Short of skywriting,
okay.
I made a good effort.
That's what that message in the chat was about.
Yeah,
I was like, is somebody selling a Green Lantern?
No, I was downstairs cooking. But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun video.
Yeah,
I wish I'd been in the chat.
If you guys haven't seen it, you should watch it for several reasons. But mostly, he comes out pretty good. Copy comes out pretty good in the end of that video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. I didn't catch the end. Now I'm curious. I'll have to go back and.
The end is. I don't want to say it's the best part, but it's probably the second best part.
Gotcha.
So
interesting. Yeah.
And,
Copy 801 for those of you who don't know.
He wasn't really clear, but it sounds like all of us, not just us, but pretty much everyone in general should be worried now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't say that because I'm about to buy books from him.
I don't want what he had.
he has a whole bunch of bombshells he's selling me.
Oh, there's a bombshell in there.
Oh, geez. Now I know what I'm doing right after this. I'm going to go check it out.
Copy's a big DC fan too. And and what he ends up pulling out at the end is very DC oriented and something that I don't have that I would love to have. But he does deserve it. So, just go enjoy the video. I just want to subscribe to him too, because he deserves it.
Yeah. He puts out solid content.
Even though he will go to the Tangerine Trolley and not report live on this show, he still deserves it.
But he won't go to the Electric Band-Aid.
Real quick before we jump off live, just so the fans could see. Dave, will you trade weeks with me? Oh, wait, no, it's on yours next week, ain't it?
Yeah.
Never mind. Because the next story is my story, and I wanted it to be on my channel, and I was thinking it was my channel next week. Sorry. I'm half asleep by now, so.
All right.
Strike that from the record.
We can trade. It's cool.
No.
You got next week.
We need an official fanboy stenographer to read back the minutes as they happen.
Yeah.
I thought that was Tim. That's the problem. Because whenever anyone asks, it's like, Tim's like, all right. And he sets us straight.
My bedtime's normally 8, so I get to this time of the night, I'm not even here anymore. Sorry.
It's just going through the motions.
Exactly.
I swear to you, during the course of since we've gone live, I swear to you, I've hallucinated or something and saw Flashpoint in here, but he didn't have his losing bet costume on.
That wasn't a hallucination.
It wasn't?
It was not a hallucination.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think maybe he decided he should probably leave before we noticed. We're like, hey, wait a minute.
Well, okay. Would the rest of you agree then that for the chat's sake, right? For everybody that supported us here that are now being robbed of seeing this punishment, that Tony should just go ahead and do his punishment.
Nope. I think it should go downhill. Yeah.
Who are you talking about? I won.
Well, I know, but the chat needs to see something. So
someone else has to do it. If this was Survivor, I have won my immunity. I'm playing my immunity idol. Someone else has to bite the bullet. I'm safe.
I'll put up a poll. Do you want to see Ryan dress up as Harley Quinn, Kid Flash, the Wonder Woman with the black jacket from the 90s?
Or like a really skin
or Giganta. Exactly.
Really skin tight latex Catwoman.
Look at the reaction from the chat.
Yeah,
Ryan, don't deprive them.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, we didn't get a straight no. Like me, absolutely not. I won fair and square.
We should run a contest on this. Like,
how did I get pulled into this?
Away.
We can run a contest. What do I win?
Yeah.
Not doing it is a winning. Like it might as well be $1 million.
The love and affection of the fanboys chat.
I thought I had that already.
It's a different kind of love and affection.
Oh,
right? Yeah. Dave has to cosplay as the food trooper dressed as Wonder Woman.
I have the ultimate immunity idol. I've already given you guys all that I'm giving.
You've given them a lot more than I would.
The squirrel was enough.
Yeah, and they've run with that.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, you're probably right.
I've seen
someone else.
I've seen t-shirts.
Maybe that'll be when you do the Foo and Squatch Box season 3, if that's ever a thing. You should assign like numbers. These numbers get a shirt. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you know, a Foo and a Squatch T-shirt.
There you go.
That would be nice. That'd be nice for sure. But yeah, wrapping things up. I know it's kind of late. I'm gonna shout out the chat. Robert Henning stopped by. Awesome to see him. Jackson, Super Russ, BTC Moon Guy. I collect a lot. Justin Nerd made a brief appearance. I know people were kind of filtering in and out, which is okay. Aggressively relaxing. Even Flashpoint made an appearance, which is great. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Keep in mind, next week we are on Foo's channel, where we will finish up this story. There's only 3 issues next week, so hopefully it won't eat up too much time. But anybody else got anything for the good of the show?
No.
All right. Going once, going twice, sold. All right. We'll see you all next year. Next week. Man, maybe I'm tired too. I don't know. We'll see you all next week.